Well, this is a video on using the setup bonnet. So I'm going to put my loops from this on every other needle. It's really close to this carrier, so it's a little fiddly right there. It's always good to have the latches open. Even while you're doing this part. These loops are getting kind of worn, and they're really stretched out. I'll just move this one to the next needle over. And then I'm going to take the strand of waste yarn and go ahead and thread it. I can't really see this because I'm up at the top of the yarn mast. Pulling this through. It's going to drop down now. I'm going to go ahead and use my threading tool. Thread that through. Just use a clip to kind of hold this yarn in place. These latches here are not opened. They might not be able to open because of the yarn carrier. Just There's another one that isn't open. Okay. I'm ready to and can go ahead now and thread on the last 7 or so of these. Hey, buddy. You want to try to help me again? Okay. Come on. I just like to go around and just lift these up onto that open needle. I know that they catch on by themselves, but it just looks better when they're all up and caught. This one didn't catch onto the loop. Didn't knit. There's an open needle. I'm just holding this down with my left hand. I got it going. Oops, don't have it going good enough yet. I'm going to go ahead and put the buckle on. So I want the yarn to come up through here, and then the teeth to close like that on the yarn, and then the weight will be hung here. And hanging the weight. There's one that didn't catch, didn't knit right here. I'm going to open that latch up and pick up a strand. Looks like I've got it going pretty good now. I think I'm going to go ahead and start another sock. And I'll be able to go around at least one more time. And then this is 3 on the clock, and that's where I want to stop. This is like my last ball of yarn that I bought 10 years ago. And I'm just going to tie it on and pull it through that way instead of rethreading. And this machine was made in somewhere around 1920s. So it's 100 years old, or close to it, or maybe even older. And here comes the working yarn down. And I think there's still enough contrast between this light green and this dark green. And then I just either like to untie this right away or clip it. If it's too tight, I'll just clip it. I guess I got it all undone. It's nice just to leave a few inches on the tail. I've left less, but I'll go ahead and reuse this clip here. And then overlap this one with the waste yarn. And then have this one on the same needle but the other side. And then just put the clip on these. That one. And there's an open closed latch, so make sure all the latches are open. And they are. And I'm going to reset the counter here because I think I have it so that you can kind of see the counter. And without the heel fork in, I'm going to knit one row, because on this sock I'm going to do a hung hem. So, and that's because I don't know how to do the knit one, purl one rib yet. So make sure the stitches are knitting, and they are. For hung hem, it's really a good thing to mark the first latch or ladder, because that's what will be hanging off the hem. So there's the first one, and I put this marker on it. I'm going to keep on going around. And round one is done. Now on round two, we're going to go ahead and put the heel fork into work. That just gives a little tension. And wait till that last needle pops up. And this right here is the next ladder on the other side of the first needle. And I want to mark that one with this marker. Then it's easier to hang the first and the last one on the right needle. One will go on one side of this needle, and one will hang. Actually, one will hang on that needle. I think interesting, I'm not really sure. Well, we'll see. Okay. So now I'm going to take the marker off of this one here. And then I don't have, so I won't have any sewing in to do. Weaving in with this end. I'm going to wrap this around this first latch, last latch, and go ahead and knit around the row. Get it a little tighter. And it's knit in now. I'm going to put it on the next one and knit it in. And the next one. I just usually do 8 or less, depending on how much of this piece of yarn I've left. How long it is. That's plenty, so. I might as well just take my scissors now and clip it. And then knit 40 rows total. So this is on 12 now. This is 30. 35. 39, and we're at 40. I'm going to go ahead and go over to 3 on the clock right here. Take the weight off. And even the buckle. And lift this on up. And it'd be real easy to find my beginning point because of these 2 markers. So this is the first needle. Hang that right on the first needle. And unhook it and take it off. And then all of these ladders on this first row are going to be hung on the needles. And just looking at the time on this video is about 17 minutes. And so in that 17 minutes, I've been able to knit these 40 rows. And honestly, I've knit socks by hands, and in 17 minutes, I might get a couple, well, the first few rows when you're hand knitting, especially the first rows, really takes a lot of time to do the cast on. So I probably would have gotten maybe 3 rows or so done in 17 minutes. So just lifting all of these stitches. I'll kind of let you know how it seems like it takes a long time, but I'm sure it's less than 5 minutes. It's probably 3 or 4, maybe 5, but I'm about almost a third of the way there.
Get the toy.
Oh, well, wait a second. This is halfway there right now.
Get that toy, bring it in.
I can only do about 8 more, and then I'll have to knit more of the row to move the carriage along. I still have the heel spring in. Get one more, but I do have to pull down on this sock by hand, and then with my finger pinch that so that I can knit around here a little bit of the way. So I'll be able to hang these other stitches. Hang the stitches on these other needles. So I got 10 more to go. Again, this is a 60 needle cylinder. This is an auto knitter, and it takes 12 gauge needles. Okay, we're getting down to the last 3. So I did this one, the last 2, 1 and 2 is left. So there's the 1, and then this is the very last one here, the one with the red marker. So all those needles are hung now. And I'm going to go ahead and just hold this tight and finish row 41 by holding it. But just make sure the latches are all opened. And there goes row 41. Here's the buckle. I take the buckle again, the teeth going toward the buckle, and then sliding the sock through the buckle. And hanging the weight. And it feels tight most of the way around. Okay. So I'm going to knit to row 51, which will be 10 more rows. Stop at 6 on the clock. This is the crescent tool. Mine is metal. I think this is an original part also. So this is the beginning of the heel. So these back 30 stitches won't knit, and then I'll be decreasing down and then increasing up, back up on both sides to make the heel. So this is decreasing here, but it's building up these inner rows to make room for the heel. And the heel fork is in, but it was kind of loose, so I pulled it down a little bit. And there's row 1 of the heel. And it's kind of, I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe it's because my phone. No, it just came unhooked. Let's see, do that again. There we go. I think that's putting the tension on the yarn now. Yep. So this is needle number 2, and I think it's time to go ahead and put the weight on for the heel. Slip this up underneath. Some weight on there. Number 2 on the other side. Number 3. Needle number 3 on the opposite side. Number 4. And number 5. And it's getting loose. This will be needle number. I gotta recount it so I can say the right one. 2, 4, 5. 2, 4. So this is 5 on the right side. Oops. And 5 on the left. 6. 6. 7. Okay, 7 already. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Needle number 8. This is number 9. I'm going to move the weight up again. Oh, this is 9. And 9 on this side. And this one didn't knit, so I'm going to have to knit it off by hand. Okay, and move the weight up too. The weight's not, usually it's because the weight's not in the right place when it doesn't knit. Okay. Okay, up with needle number 10. And here's number 10 on the other side. On my left. It's time to increase. Push down 2 needles and wrap needle number 9 and make sure that the yarn is behind the latch on needle number 10. And same thing on this side. Make sure that needle stays open. I'm going to move these again. They don't really feel like they're doing what they're supposed to. Okay. Number 7, or number 8 goes down now. And then number 8 goes down on this side. Now we'll go 7. And 7 on this side. Needle 6. To see that needle hit. So I'm going to raise that up again. 3. That's one. There's 2. So this is the last one on this side, is needle number 2. So now we'll do needle number 2 on this side, but instead of doing needle number 1 next, we'll do it along with needle number 2 on this side. So these all go back down into work. And also all of the rest of the needles. Oh, that's not good. It's flipped around. I probably just popped them up. Oh, wrong. Okay, I can't move that one because his bar is in the way, so I'm going to keep going around until it's got some slack here to there we go. Operator error there. So this is the point where I'm going to go ahead and do 55 rows. So I'm going to reset the counter anyway. And I'm going to keep the heel fork in there for now, but when I get back to this spot, I think I'm going to take the heel fork off so that it will be looser. But anyway, or I said heel fork, I meant the heel tension. But you can see that this pocket here is what your heel will fit into when you wear the sock. Okay. So I do want to make sure all these latches are open, and one counted off the counter, and I'm back now to 3 on the clock, which is my beginning point. And now I'm going to take this tension out of the yarn, and it will just knit loosely now. So this is going to be row 2, 3, 4, 5. It's pretty with that blue in there. And as soon as the weight hits the ground, I need to move the weight up. And you can hear it's on the ground. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop. I'm going to take the heel forks out. Let's lay them on the floor because they're really heavy. And then move the buckle up. And the buckle's going to go, I think I'm going to go far enough over the heel because since I took out the heel forks, I need to get this weight distributed as best I can without the heel forks in there. Clamp that down. And then add my weight. And then 20 more rows to go before the toe. The toe is made just like the heel, except on the last row. You go ahead and knit the first of the last row as usual, and then on the last row you knit both last needles coming from my right side. Okay, so we'll finish knitting that row and then start with the decreases here. And I think just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and put my weight back on. I'm going to try to get it a little more even this time. This is pretty heavy. I think about a 5-pound sack of flour. Well, this is like holding a 4-pound sack of flour with your fingers. Okay. So the heel spring needs to go in. And then all the way up so this needle rises. Oh, you know what? I forgot to look at how long it took me to hang that hem. Okay, we're at 39 minutes now. Those weights are down there pretty far. I'm going to move them back up. And did I raise that one to 4? To 4? And I did. So This will be 5. I wonder if my fingers are in the way. I haven't been looking. 5 on both sides, and this should be 6. 6, 7, 7. It feels a little loose again, so I'm going to move the heel forks up again. The V hook. 8. 9. 9. That's what happens when you have a cat and a dog. The cat tends to push the buttons of the doggy. So one more to move this up. Another. So this is the last of the decreases, last row of decreases. Now the increases start with 2, then yarn behind the needle on that second one, 2 on this side, and the yarn will go behind the second needle, and be sure the latch stays open. Now it'll be one by one till the very last stitch. And everything seems kind of like a little grindy, so I'm just gonna see if I can get a little oil on here. So I push that last one down. Opened. I want to make sure, or that closed. I want to make sure it's open. Just watch your needles. Opened on me. I probably didn't go far enough. Oh, my weight just isn't in the right spot. 2, 3. Here we are, the last one. I'm going back. And then on, this is actually the very last stitch of the very last round on the sock itself. So I just got done pushing the first needle down and the last needle down and to knit this row. And I'm ready to cut the yarn. And just leave enough to sew the toe closed. And then this goes and gets dropped down in the middle. And a small roll of waste yarn. It's very tangly. I'm just going to cut it off. It's probably about time to switch to some new waste yarn. So I'm going to take this ball out and put this one in, thread it in there. It's just a nice little threading tool. Kind of rig that up with a piece of a skewer. Taped it on there. And this is ready to go down. And then thread it through the yarn carrier. And it goes down into the middle. And I like to put a little weight on it. And I'm going to knit all the way around. Let's do it kind of slow. Get these rest of these needles all put down. And check them that the latches are all opened. And look, that went all the way down there like that. Looks like it's one needle. I must not have had that one opened or something. It was just too tight or whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and knit this anyway, because I think if I get this knit off, I can run that back up with my latch hook and I'll be okay. And this one isn't knitting here either, just, I don't have a clue. I think maybe because there was no yarn on it. So there. I haven't had that happen, so I didn't know really how to fix it. But other than that, I do want to get this off as quick as I can so that I can fix the run. Thankfully, it's on the back side. It's not in the toe. I'm going to take the weight off, I think, over there. And I'll just keep moving with this waste yarn. I should just show in the video how I fix it because I've never had to do it before like that. I'm definitely going to look at the video and see if I can see if that latch didn't stay open, or if it wasn't open to begin with, what I might have done to prevent that from happening. Alrighty, I'm just gonna clip this right here because I want to take it off the machine. And when there's no thread on there and you go around, that's like what a drop stitch is too. But that is a drop stitch on purpose. So there's my weights coming off. And here's the sock coming out of the if I can put my thing on there and balance it, I might be able to see what I'm doing. So there's the sock. This is the heel. As far as I can tell, it looks really nice. And the cuff looks good. It doesn't look like there are any drop stitches. But this is a different story. Oh, there's the live stitch. So you can pick that up like that. If I knit this up on the knit side, see, I don't know how to do this, so I'll have to just try it. So let me see if I can pick up that stitch. Did I get it all on there? I can't really tell. You know, I think I can just go up, ladder it up this way. No, I don't have a clue as to what I'm doing. Let's see if I can pick this one up. Oh, that might be it. So, yes. A lot easier to do it this way than if you drop a stitch and you try to fix it while it's on the cylinder and in the rest of the needles there. I dropped it again. Get it in there right. There we go. It's actually quite a few rows. And let's see, it doesn't want to really go on that one. So I'm going to try to ladder this one down the cord up there to see. Oh, there it is. You can tell I've never done this before. Okay, so now I got the green ladders, so. Oh, what is this, a loose one here? Oh, get that off. Split a thread. Okay, back up. Okay, now onto the waste yarn. I think I skipped some, but it's not going to matter. It's as long as the working yarn is right. I'm just doing the waste yarn so when I do up the toe. Oh wow, now I can see it's a little tighter than the other ones were, but nothing that won't be able to kind of work out. Now I can barely see that it was even fixed. And now where was it? No, it was back on this side. Right there. Because it went all the way down to the green. And it's not perfect, but it's nothing that I'll ever notice when I'm wearing the sock. Okay. Thanks for your patience. Y'all take care.